Thank you all so much. And thank you for joining. What if I told you that the real heroes of COVID-19 or any other crisis are the individuals and businesses who put people first? In times of crisis, the pressure we experience, it exposes our vulnerabilities, and we see that. But I believe that it also exposes our strength. This pressure that we're experiencing now, it can be scary and frightening. And to be honest, it just shows the weights that we carry every day. So, for example, I am a wife to the wonderful Terrell, who I believe is on listening now, and also a mom of three boys, ages 6, 4, and 11 months old. And Simon, they do not like being changed. But even with that, navigating this new normal that I also call the chaos while consuming the news about the layoffs and the furloughs and having loved ones fighting for their lives is any reason for someone to press the panic button. But before you do that, I want to encourage you to answer this question. How do I want to remember this moment? Or better yet, how will my response contribute to my legacy? Sowing seeds of hope now will reap benefits from years to come. I've seen it firsthand. I've spent years in the healthcare industry, as Karen mentioned, working to build programs and oversee staff with everything focused on the patient at the center of everything we did. But it's something to go from shadowing administrators and rounding on patients to becoming one of the patients yourself. It was 8 years ago that my husband and I experienced a tragedy that no parent should ever experience in their life. I was 5.5 months pregnant when our first child, Lauren Kelly, literally died on the inside of my belly. My blood pressure had peaked to over 200 over 100. I could have had a stroke and died in my bed if Terrell hadn't rushed me to the hospital that night. I would soon learn that I had experienced a sudden onset of HELP syndrome, which is a severe version of preeclampsia. Regardless, the fear and the frustration was massive. The trauma was real. But in our crisis, there was so much beauty. And oftentimes the beauty came as a result of our interactions with people who just knew how to put us first. So I have a great example for you. And tonight we're going to call her Lily. So Lily was more than my bedside nurse. Oh my goodness. Lily was our family photographer. She captured all of those amazing moments that we treasure today. She was our memorial service coordinator. You know, Lily was also the gift shop tour guide for my mom. You know, I had to get the best Vera Bradley bag to put all of my medicine in when I got home. Lily was also that shoulder to cry on when I had yet another night of nightmares. Lily was the brand within the brand for me. She knew how to prioritize me because, get this, she was first prioritized by her leadership team. You see, Lily sat at the table of influence, and she helped to use her gifts and talents and her voice to build up the very program that I benefited from. And that happened years before I even showed up to the doors. My experience as the customer was merely a byproduct of the trust and that loyalty that was established between she and the leadership team. Some of you are the Lilies in your organization. And if you're not, you know who they are, and you may have had a similar experience with one of those Lilies. Lilies, they know how to spark hope even in the midst of crisis. And here's the thing. We also must understand that they cannot deposit into others until they have received some hope themselves. So tonight, I really want you to understand the importance of prioritizing your people You understand? And I really want you to make a decision tonight. Connect with the lilies around you. So, if you are a leader of people, I want you to schedule temperature check-in meetings with your teams. Ask them, what do they need to feel more supported? Or what do they need to feel more normal right now? If you're not a leader of people, whether you've been impacted by the furlough or layoff, I want you to meet with your circle of influence. Because you're here, I know you have one. Ask those same questions and then connect together as a unit. Decide what is that one thing that we will do as a unit, as a unified voice of gifts, talents, and brilliance to spark hope in the lives and minds of those that we are called to serve. Listen, guys, people matter. It's not that profit doesn't, but people drive business. People drive relationships. Tonight, you're going to get a gift. And in that gift includes my sneak preview to my latest book, People First, Then Profit, 5 Principles to Build People-Rich Cultures. And you can connect on my website, kimasmith.com, and we'll connect there. But before we transition, I want to share this final thought with you. I want to share the fact that a year after our loss, I decided to go spark some hope. I found myself presenting before some amazing women a year later. They were high risk, very pregnant, 8 months and plus at that. And I shared my story of hope, and I gave some information of what to do if they became sick while pregnant. I got a phone call 3 months later from the director of the program. She said, Kim, one of the women who was in the session, she had to go to the emergency room within an hour of leaving the session. She was diagnosed with, guess what? HELP syndrome. HELP syndrome, that rare condition that happens in 4 out of 1,000 pregnancies. Who would have thought that my voice was connected to the hope she needed to move forward? She knew what to do. She knew how to respond, because there is a young woman who decided to show up and spread some spark, spread some hope in her life. Someone somewhere needs you, is depending on you to spark hope. So go light a flame tonight.